It should say up on the Zoom.
We're live.
Great. Okay. There we go. All right. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Zac with Egoscue of Seattle, and this is Martin with Egoscue of Portland. So we're just going to be going through a little introduction about ourselves and just so you can get to know us and kind of where we come from, how we got into this, maybe some fun trivia about us as well. But yeah, if you have any questions, post them in the comments below. So we'll hopefully have some time to answer them. If not, we'll be doing this again and we can compile all your questions and answer them later. So, all right, who wants to go first? Why don't you tell your story first? You've been doing this longer than me, so.
Yeah, so my name is Martin McFarlane, and I've been involved with Egoscue since about 1999. And I've been the clinic director here for, gosh, almost 17 years. And I was first introduced to Egoscue through the book Pain Free. So back in 99, I was working as a personal trainer, and I had severe hip and back pain that I had sustained from a bicycling injury. I was a professional half pipe rider. And I really dealt with that pain for a decade. And I was going down the normal channels that most people go down, most of our clients go down. I was seeing a chiropractor, I was trying physical therapy, and I was having some manual work done. And like a lot of people, I'd feel good for a few days and then the pain would come back. And it got to the point where it became very debilitating. And what I mean by that is it started to affect not only my sleep, my focus, but also my work performance and even my relationships. And so my boss at the time introduced me to the Pain Free book. And I flipped through the book and I was like, wow, those exercises look really, simple. How can they help me? So I tried a couple of the exercises and I'm like, oh, it's, they're kind of relaxing, but I thought it was kind of a joke because I was extremely fit at the time. I was 8% body fat. I was, very strong and I could do pretty much anything I wanted. It just hurt and I would have that residual pain. And so I decided to go in for an Egoscue session. And what really blew me away was my posture photos. I couldn't believe how out of balance and how misaligned my body was. My pelvis, I'd been diagnosed with scoliosis when I was 3. I was really rounding forward. I was crooked. My hip was elevated. And I went through my first session and I was really surprised because I felt a difference. And I'm like, wow, well, maybe this is, the solution to my problem. And so nobody had ever pointed out my structural imbalances before, not even the chiropractor. So the posture photos were very eye-opening for me. And at that point, I'm like, wow, I already feel a little bit better. I have to learn this technique because all of my clients at the time had some sort of ache, pain, or limitation. And that's really when I started to embrace the method.
So you were doing personal training at the time, right?
That's right. And kind of at that young age, you kind of think you know everything about core strengthening. I was helping people go from physical therapy back to the workout floor and just arrogantly thought, what else is there, to know? Mm-hmm. So I was surprised.
And that was, you went, back then it was just San Diego, right? There were no other clinics outside of Del Mar, or was
That's exactly right. There was an East Coast and a West Coast clinic back then. And so I went down to San Diego.
Yeah, it's come a long way since then, huh?
That's right. Yeah, how about you?
Well, it's funny, we have a very similar, well, a lot of ways similar story, background at least. Like if you remember, I was a personal trainer and kind of a similar situation. Like I was kind of big into the functional fitness and trying to find ways to help people not just get stronger, faster, leaner, but helping them move better and improve performance and reduce injury. So when I first learned about Egoscue, I was in college still doing personal training. I was at BYU, and one of my actually two of my professors, shout outs to Jim George and Ron Hager. They introduced me to the method. I think they had, you know, they at least had the books, and they may have already been PAS certified. But anyway, Jim was a golfer and also had scoliosis, and so he had used this method to get rid of his back pain, and so he was a big believer. And at the time, being young and fit as well, and just I didn't have any pain at the moment, so I thought, oh, this is great, like something I can use for my clients. But I never thought like it would be something for me. I just thought it was another tool I could use to teach others. But so, I started investigating it, and fast forward to about a year or two later and started grad school. I was playing a lot of racquetball and started to have back and shoulder problems creep up. Had some, wrist and forearm, tennis elbow symptoms creeping in too. So I thought, maybe I should give this Egoscue stuff a shot. So just like you, and I'm sure every client can relate to this, first time you see your posture photos, it's like, oh, wow, that's really humbling and eye-opening, like just how twisted I was, and my torso and my shoulders were super rounded, and my knees and feet weren't pointing straight, So, and it became clear, like, oh, well, my pain isn't coming from racquetball. It's the body I'm bringing to the court is crooked to begin with. So, of course, I'm gonna hurt. So it just made sense to me. And I started doing the exercises as well and felt a difference right away. And I was able to keep playing racquetball, for the next couple of years at a pretty high level without any real issues. So that's kind of how it started. And then, in grad school, I actually ended up doing my master's thesis on Egoscue. So I noticed, like, even though I'd seen how it worked on myself and saw some results in other people, like I was still skeptical, like that I was in that research mindset or fact finding, like there's no research published about Egoscue, does it really work? Is this just placebo, whatever? So I actually did my master's thesis, the effects of Egoscue on chronic knee and hip pain. And so we found about 40 people with chronic knee or hip problems, put them through, basic posture assessment, gave them recommended exercises, tracked it for just 2 weeks. So it was really short term. And we saw on average, like basically a 50% reduction in pain across the board for the Egoscue group. We compared it to a control who didn't improve, obviously. So that was, pretty significant to see that change in those people over just 2 weeks. And so
wow,
it's really what sealed the deal, I think, for me. And that's when I sought out the PAS certification. And then that's when you came into the picture. I can't remember if you had posted a job listing or if I know I had been calling all the clinics just to see if they had openings. Do you remember, did you have a job listing out or not? Or
I think I did have a job listing. Yes.
okay.
I was back in 2013 or 14?
15
maybe?
14. Yeah, 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was fresh out of grad school and applied in Portland and flew down, interviewed. Obviously, it went well. So you hired me for some reason. And so then I worked there and got, more training, working as a therapist. And we opened up Seattle about a year and a half later. So this was always just a little more background about the area. Like there had been a traveling trip coming here for years. We would come here, me and you would come up once a month and, see clients that way. And then eventually, exactly 5 years ago, actually.
You just had your anniversary, right? Last month?
5 years in January.
Yeah.
It's 5 years. So
time flies.
Yeah. But I still do my exercises every day, as I'm sure you do. I mean, I think that's the thing clients ask us a lot is like, do you do your exercises? Like, do you have, so yeah, we're human too. We've got issues, but that's why we do this. At least that's why I do it is, it helps me and I want to help others. So, um,
That's great. And that's a common question with clients. You've been doing this for 20 years. What does your menu look like? And, I'm a huge fan of doing something twice a day. So typically what I'll do is I'll do an Egoscue menu before I work out in the morning, right? To set my body, to set my alignment, right? Straighten, then strengthen. And usually again at night, I'll do another 4 or 5 exercises to, give my body another reset. And, that always helps with sleep too. So I'm a huge fan of that positive stimulus also just kind of, throughout the day. How about you?
Yeah, I do something pretty similar. It's the first thing. One of the first things I do in the morning is exercise. I work out, and I always start with Egoscue. I have a little mini menu that I do every morning, and then I'll work out, and then I'll do something again in the evening, or sometimes if I have downtime at work or lunch break, I'll get on the floor again and do some more exercises. So it's just something that I incorporate into my lifestyle, and I encourage my clients to do the same thing. So
so you've been doing Egoscue for a while now too. So what's your favorite exercise?
I'd say, well, the easy answer is static back. But probably if my go-to, like if I just chose one exercise to do, probably be upper spinal floor twist.
Yeah.
Just because I still that's my thoracic back is still not as mobile as I would like, and my shoulder, and so it just always helps give me some more mobility in my upper back and my shoulders, and it always just feels so good. And so, how about you?
That's great. I really like the Egoscue Patch unders. So, and if you don't know what that is, I know you know what that is, Zach, but if our audience doesn't know what that is, shoot me an email, martin@egoscue.com, and we can chat about it. It's just a great way to keep the hips nice and loose and strong, which I definitely need because, I do a ton of, mountain biking and a lot of hiking. So it's always good to, focus on that foundation.
Yeah. Do you still have any patch equipment there in the clinic, or did you?
We don't have the actual patch, but what I do is I just do it in front of the mirror, right? Just to really spot check my form, make sure I'm using good technique, going down nice and low.
Yeah. Well, I think we got time for a couple more questions here. You had some questions, I think trivia stuff.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to ask you is, what do you love about the method? You're still very passionate.
Yeah, I think
people.
Probably what draws me to it and what keeps me doing it is the fact that it's something that you can do for yourself. So it's really, I guess, freeing in a way. Like you don't have to. It takes away a lot of fear, right? Because it's something that I can do for myself that immediately gives me results, and I don't have to rely on someone else. I'm in control of my health, right? I can take care of myself, and as a therapist, like being able to help others do that is also really gratifying. So I'd say just the ability to like take control of your own body, your own health, and all the relief, both physically and mentally, that brings. It's probably what I love about it. So
yeah,
I agree with that. You? 100%. Yeah.
Same for sure. But also just helping people get in touch with their bodies, right? Oftentimes we're just so externally focused and really checked out about what our body's actually trying to tell us with our imbalances and misalignments and our health in general. So with the Egoscue, it seems like we're really able to help people kind of slow down and tune in and get back in touch with, those messages from their body. And so I think that ties back into what you were saying, and then that gives them peace of mind. Knowing that they have the power and they can take charge of their health and well-being, so to speak.
Isn't that what's the quote you have on your wall there?
Ah, my quote, yeah. So in order to trust your body as a guide, the first step is to understand it. And really, I think that's 50% of what we do. We're helping people understand what those misalignments mean and what their body's trying to tell them.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. Any other questions?
No, I'm good. Gotta hop along here. Got a busy afternoon.
Yeah, well, looks like we've got on Facebook here, we've got a question from somebody, Mary Jane. I live in Maryland. I went to an Egoscue clinic 8 years ago for a back issue. It's not close. But it's not close. Oh, like doesn't live close to a clinic. I had a small rotator cuff tear a couple years ago. Had some physical therapy, but I'm wondering what each sizes would be good. Thanks. So I would just say, first off, like you can get help no matter where you are over Zoom, just like this. That's especially since the pandemic, we've been doing a lot more Zoom. We've always had that, well, at least since I've been around, we've always had that ability. So it's okay if you can't physically get to a clinic, reach out either to one of us or to whatever your local clinic is, and we can help you remotely. As far as which exercises specifically, we really can't say without seeing your posture and seeing, getting the whole, background. I mean, there's no generic one exercise that's going to fix everybody's rotator cuff issue. So sorry, can't give any more specifics there, but would you have anything to add to that, Martin?
No, I would agree. We have to figure out why it hurts in the first place.
Yeah.
Right. What are the underlying imbalances?
Yeah. So reach out, and I'm sure most any clinic is willing to at least chat with you on the phone for free, consultation, and just help you get back on track. But yeah, if anybody else has questions, post them in the comments. We'll be doing this again, I think, hopefully soon, Martin.
Most definitely.
We'll be able to answer some more questions next time. So, well, thanks for your time, Martin, and thanks everybody on Facebook for joining us. And we will see you next time.
All right. Thank you, Zach. Thanks for taking the time.
Yep. All right. How do we end this?